Welcome back to Elden Ring. In this video we are continuing with our mage build for the astrologer class. And this build just continues to get better and better and better the more I play and the more I do for it. And just quickly before we get any further into the video, if you're not currently subbed to the channel, make sure you do sub, turn notifications on. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, all support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to support me further as a creator, then check out the links in the description, and let's get back to it. So what I'm going to do with this one, because I have previously covered a lot of stuff regarding this build, is I'm going to link some videos in the description and in the pinned comment, so that you guys can easily navigate to them videos if you want to see some of the things in this one. Because if I was to cover it all in this one single video, we'd be here for a couple of hours. This is more of a mid-game build than an early game, so you would have at least needed to explore a fair amount of the game. Tricky things I will still obviously show you. And with this build, the more you upgrade the weapon you're going to be using, you can easily take it all the way to the end game. The only thing you would need to work on is just continuing to improve your stats. I'm still running more tests on the spells, the weapons, all that sort of stuff regarding the astrologer, and you never know, at one point we might completely switch the build out. But if there is anything better, any small changes and things I make to it, I will come back with even more videos for it, so that you guys can follow along and have fun, because I've played with about 5 or 6 different classes on this game, and by far, in my opinion, the astrologer is the absolute best. And one clip I want to show you to add some value to it is I defeated Margit incredibly quick with absolutely no trouble. I think it was about 20, maybe 25 seconds. What I like to do is summon other players and summon my spirits and stuff, just to take some aggro away from me, because you're going to be set to play from range typically, as is more of a magic sort of stand back mage build. So you're going to be using way more range, although with smaller mobs you can get up close, because the weapon itself that we are running has a decent base damage, and it also scales with intelligence and faith, although you are going to need some higher stats to just further improve it. So I would definitely recommend also watching some rune farm guides that are on the channel. So the weapon we're going to be running, there is a video on the channel, it will be linked in the description. That is going to be the Sword of Night and Flame, and you get it from Caria Manor. You also upgrade it with somber smithing stones, and in that video I not only covered how to get your hands on the weapon, but I also showed you where the somber smithing stones were in order to upgrade it to +6. Getting it to +6 is going to be hard. +5 is relatively easy. +6 you have to take down a boss, and it's a pain in the arse, but you can get it done even with this build, like with the weapon +5. It just takes a little bit of patience and perseverance. Another thing you are going to need is head to the Round Table Hold. You're going to need to purchase the finger seal from the Twin Maiden Husks. I believe that one is 300 runes. And then if you're interested in the armor I am running in this video, it is the Royal Remains armor set. You can use any one that you want to in the game. It's just one that I personally really like. It's not too heavy. It looks good. I've got the wolf mask on. I can't actually remember how to get your hands on the wolf mask. There you go. To get your hands on the wolf mask, you're going to need to go out the back of the manor after you take down the boss that's there, which will be in another one of the astrologer guide videos. It's basically, I think it's called Celavis's Tower or something like that. I showed it in another video because you go there to grab a memory stone, which is going to come in very handy for incantations and spells. But that's exactly what I'm running, along with the Lord's Robe, or the Blood Lord's Robe, or whatever it's called. That one costs 20,000 runes, and you get that from taking down one of the main bosses. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you are interested, I'll leave that video linked in the description and the pinned comment, because you can get yourself 500,000 runes instantly. In terms of your flasks, I currently have 10. I balance it 6 blue, 4 red. The reason I do that is because I don't typically use too many FP flasks. With the way I'm running the build, it doesn't actually use that much FP, so I'm not constantly having to refill it, and when I'm doing a boss fight, you're always going to sites of grace and stuff. However, the health is really, really important, especially because my vigor stat isn't too high. But obviously you can run the flasks, however, it's just finding the right balance for your personal playstyle. And to get more flasks, you will need to find golden seeds. So when you see one of the golden trees in the game, they will have golden seeds around them. And as you make your way towards the outskirts of the capital, some of the trees will have 2 golden seeds there, which is going to be incredibly helpful, because the more you get, the more golden seeds it's going to cost. Like, the more flasks you obtain, the more seeds it's going to cost. At the moment, it costs 4 for each flask that I want to add. But these golden trees can be found all over the game world. So it's just about spotting them, heading over, grabbing your golden seed, moving on. So now if we take a look at the build itself, Sword of Night and Flame +6, then I've got the Finger Seal, I've got the Black Wolf Mask, the Lord of Blood's Robe, then I'm running the Royal Remains Gauntlets and Greaves. I run 3 Talismans, Radagon's Soreseal, Gold Scarab and Carian Filigreed Crest. I'll explain how you get your hands on those. There is also another one you could add in, but we'll get to that later on. And then as well as your typical blue and red flasks, I've also got the Flask of Wondrous Physic with the Intelligence Not Crystal tier and the Opaline Bubble tier. I'll explain how to get all of that further in the video as well. If you're interested to run more talismans and you want a build like this, in order to get the pouches or the slots to hold more, because you only start the game with 1, you have to take down the main bosses. So again, the video with the 500k instant runes, that'll show you how to get one of them. And then Godric, the first main boss you'll encounter, he will give you another one. Then there is also one more you can get from getting further into the game. So you can eventually, and the most you can run, are 4 talismans at the same time. So starting this off with Radagon's Soreseal, you are going to need to head all the way over to the east, and you are going to Fort Faroth. So to get there, it's incredibly easy to start with, and then I'll show you the tricky part of it. So the first step, you go up to Gatefront, come all the way to Stormhill Shack, follow this path all the way along, like down through Summonwater Village, all the way until you get to Caelin Ruins. I'm going to show you from Caelin Ruins, because it is a little bit tricky. Like, this is like when you first take the route. So you're going to head east, ignore these dogs over here, just to our right hand side. And you just want to keep going in this direction until you get to a little break in the terrain. So right here, and you're going to just jump across. Then when you get here, you're going to unlock Dragonbarrow West. This is the site of Grace up here. From this site of Grace, what you're going to do is you can grab the map fragment. It's just along here. If we carry on along this main path, you can see the pillar right here. The map fragment for this area will be there. But if we head back to Dragonbarrow West, or at least close to it, it's like the other side of that fallen tree. From there, you're going to come underneath this tree. And you are just going to drop down onto the next layer. You have to be careful around here because there are dragons. So go under this tree. I've just lost some health from that as well. Then as soon as you get here, you want to hug this fiery wall. Come all the way along. And then if you go on the right hand side of this fiery wall, all you want to do is follow it, go to the next bit of fiery wall. And then you're going to hug this wall tight, because if you haven't done the, I think it's called like an Elder Dragon. If you haven't taken that down for the 75k runes, there is a video for that on the channel as well. If you haven't taken that down, there will be dragons sleeping like on this little grassy area. But all you want to do is hug this wall, and then as soon as you get to this break just outside this castle, there is going to be a site of grace. So I'm going to quickly rest. Then what you want to do, realistically, make sure you don't have any runes on you, or as little amount as you possibly can. You need to enter the fort itself. You're going to grab 2 things from here, not just the talisman. One of those things is going to be one side of a medallion that you are going to need for a step further into this video. So in we go. We're just going to run into the fort, ignore all the combat to the best of your ability. Come into this little room over here and climb up this ladder. In this chest right in front of you, you will get the medallion. Make sure you pick this up. It's important for later on. head to the southwest side and drop down onto this platform. Then onto this section here. And I'm actually going to pop my flask just to be safe. But what you want to do is drop down here. At the end of this little section that we're on now, there is going to be a level 12 golden rune worth 7,500 runes. I really hope I don't miss this jump. It's because that rat's there. There we go. So jump across. Then what you want to do is come around here. There's going to be a giant rat with that small one. Drop down. And there's going to be a loot item here, which is going to be Radagon's Soreseal. What that's going to do is it's going to increase the amount of damage you take by up to a maximum of 13%. But it's going to increase 4 of your stats. I'll tell you the stats in a moment once we get out. If you just follow my route to get back out. It's going to boost 4 of your stats, plus 5 on each one. The weapon I'm running, you are going to need high stats for it. It's going to give you a plus 5 to your vigor, endurance, strength, and dexterity. One thing to make sure you do is always increase the potency of your flasks. If you go to certain churches in the game, you can find something called a sacred tier. If I show you one of the first ones you get, if you come to lake facing cliffs, when this loads us in, you'll be able to see the churches. Not every single one of them actually houses a sacred tier. But just over here in front of us, if we have a look, it's called the Church of Irith. That will have a sacred tier right at the back. You'll see it as like your typical loot drop. And then you take that to a site of grace. You go into your flask menu. So if we do that quickly, if I rest, we come in here and we go to our flask menu. Then if you increase the amount replenished by flasks, you can use a sacred tier to do so. Obviously, I have none. But mine at the moment are plus 3. And it saves some of your flasks. Both your blue and your reds will be plus 3. Obviously, once you've had 3 sacred tiers, it goes up plus 1 each sacred tier. But it's going to help you save flasks because it increases their potency. So instead of it healing for, say, 400 health, it will heal for 500. And then plus 2 would be 600. Or something like that. It's obviously not those numbers. They're just examples. But it increases how much FP and HP that you get back or you replenish every single time you use one. So you're going to be gaining more health. You're going to get more focus points, meaning you need to use less flasks. Really, really important, like crucial to any build in the game. Make sure you are grabbing your sacred tiers. You are going to need that first half of the medallion we got from Fort Faroth. So where we've just been with the dragon at that fort, you're going to get the first half. The next half is if you come to the third church of Marika. So from gate front, you come down here over the bridge, follow it round, and you get to the third church of Marika. If you go there and head down this main road, you get to the fort right at the end. So when you head over to the fort, this is Fort Height. Yeah, Fort Height. And it's east of Waypoint Ruins. So over from Gatefront as well. You've just got to follow the main path to get here. What you do at this fort is avoid all the damage and everything, like all the enemies that are going to be here. I don't know why it seems so empty right now. Right here you'll grab a golden seed from this golden tree. I think the first time I come here there was a pumpkin head on the stairs. Not entirely sure. It just seems a bit odd that there's no enemies around. Bear in mind with this, there will be enemies when you come here. But head up these stairs here. There will be like a big elite enemy in this section if I remember correctly. But come into this tower, up this ladder, and when we get to the very top, outside is a chest. And in that chest you will get the second half of the medallion. When you are at Liurnia Lake, if you come to the very, very top, so this is just making your way up the lake. So from lake facing cliffs, come round on the main path down to Liurnia Lake shore, then just travel up and through the lake. There's no tricky traversal or anything like that at all. But if you go to the ravine, I'll show you exactly what to do when we get there. Another thing I would do whilst you're here is head over to this section here. So it's near Road to the Manor. You'll see it's just outside the manor here. You're going to head here because this is where you're going to get one of the parts you need, one of the tiers you need for the flask of, what's it called, Wondrous Physic. Not only that, as well as all the stuff that I'm mentioning, there is a mask you can get instead of the wolf one if you wanted to. I believe it's called Twin Sage or something like that. You get it from Greyoll, which is here, the massive academy. You have to go across all the rooftops and stuff. It's going to boost your intelligence by 6, I believe it's 6. But it's also going to decrease your max health, so I'm not going to run that risk. I'm just going to farm runes to build up my stat for intelligence anyway. But when you get here, I'll show you exactly where it is. From the ravine, just head over here, and when you get here, if you come around the back, there's going to be some hands. There will be a little bit of combat round in this section. But you're going to go all the way to the far north of this little bit. And when you get to here, there's going to be a hand that's kind of resting. You'll see the loot drop if you haven't got this before. But that hand's going to jump up and attack you, and it can be a nightmare to deal with. But once you've dealt with it, grab the loot drop. That's going to be the intelligence not crystal tier. That's going to be 1/2 of the flask of Wondrous Physic that we're going to build. So, back from the ravine, what we are going to do is keep heading south. But what you're going to do is hug this wall, keep coming all the way along, all the way around. And as soon as you get to like this section here, there's going to be a spirit spring. What you want to do is interact with that spirit spring, so just jump on it with your mount. And that's going to chuck you up to here. Grab this, which is East Greyoll Gate. And then from there, follow the main path all the way up until you get to the Grand Lift of Dectus. So when you make it up to this Grand Lift, if you come over here to the lift itself, if you then stand on it, it gives you the ability to hoist the medallion. And what that's going to do is lift you up and it's going to bring you here. So you now have access to the outskirts of the capital. So what you want to do when you make it to the top is just come along the path until you get to the Altus Highway Junction. There is another way to get up here, but the medallion's the fastest, that's why I showed you it. It's the easiest as well. If you wanted to, from the ravine, you could head all the way up here, and there's like a massive like wooden construction thing that you're going to climb up, and it's going to take you to a boss. So you've got a boss fight or the medallions. So when you arrive at Altus Highway Junction, you are going to head west to the Tree Gazing Hill. So all you need to do here is head west. You go through this camp that's in front of us, and then up the hill you can see in the distance. So level with my character's head. You want to head up that hill, and there is going to be a Site of Grace. From this Site of Grace, obviously grab your golden seed. We are going to head north up the hill. Instead of going down and going further into the outskirts of the capital, we are going up this hill here. And what you want to do when you get up here is follow this all the way around. Ignore the boss that's in here. Just be careful because it spawns this like weird spirit hand thing. So keep following it around the exact same way. I say a hand. Yeah, there you go. A massive like skeleton hand thing. Then what we're going to do... Have I gone past the Site of Grace? Yeah, it's right here. Make sure you grab this Site of Grace. It's incredibly important to get that to like take away the aggro of the boss. But not only that, save your checkpoint. Then up this ravine, we're going to carry on. Be very, very careful with this place because it starts spitting out weird shit like that. And it really, really hurts. But what you're going to do is, when you get here, there's another golden tree there. You are going to just keep following this round to the left. Keep going all the way up. And then instead of going up and over there, we are going to come around this way. And then from here, what you want to do is just keep coming all the way along until you get to Seath Water Terminus. So it's just straight west. You just head up here. I don't know why skeletons seem to fall, but okay. So just keep heading west all the way until you get to this site of grace. What you want to do is ignore all the combat, and you want to come into this fort. It's going to chuck you off your horse. This guy over here, you can ignore him, but he is going to explode from his head. So it's going to be like, he's just basically going to like mortar everywhere. Ignore him, come in here, go up these stairs, and then as soon as you get to the top, you are going to have absolutely nothing. That chest is already open as soon as you get up here. If you come over here, on the west side, you're going to jump up on the wall over here. You are going to interact with the loot drop that's here. That is going to get you, if you go into our equipment, that is going to get you the Fire Scorpion Charm. It raises your fire attack but lowers your damage negation. So it's got a counter, it's not just a positive. However, we are going for fire damage because of the ability on the sword. So that's going to be helpful. However, I've chose to go with Carian Filigreed Crest. If you want Carian Filigreed Crest, if you come back down to Road to the Manor, when you get here, there is this dude sitting here. He's a vendor. You can buy it off him for 5 grand. So for like 5,000 runes. But once you have obtained the Fire Scorpion Charm, what you want to do is head back to Altus Highway Junction. From here, what we're going to do, I would look for another route, but I'm going to take you this way purely because you get 4 golden seeds from this, if I remember correctly. So stick to the left-hand side here because there are going to be crossbows that are firing at you. And if you go in the middle, they will hit you and probably kill you. Go all the way up these stairs, ignore all the combat. There's also going to be 2 tree sentinels at the top. Try and ignore them to the best you can. However, they do charge at you and it can be scary. But come through this gate here. In front of you, there is going to be a tree with 2 golden seeds. There is also a site of grace so that you can reset the aggro. Not only that, over at this pillar, you have the map fragment for this area. But from there, you want to head north. Come up these stairs. You're going to see some massive thing fly in a minute. There it is. It's just going to land near you. Don't need to worry about it. You can just carry on. At the very top, you are going to have another golden tree with another 2 golden seeds. Then what you do is carry on up north. Come all the way up here until just before this gate. When you get near the top, there's going to be a rock formation here. Jump over, grab your site of grace. From there, we are going to head through the gate. And then here, what you want to do is make your way all the way along the main path. You are going to be shot at by boulders. You're going to have massive boulders yeeted at you, so just be careful. That might actually happen again on your way up here from the Grand Lift of Dectus as well. When you are here, yes, you can farm these. If you attack them once they start attacking you, you get quite a lot of runes off them. But you are going to make your way west over to Road of Iniquity side path. There's going to be a site of grace directly in front of us. That is going to be the one that I showed you on the map. So the Road of Iniquity side path. You're going to follow this path all the way down until you get to the Bridge of Iniquity. When you arrive at the other side of the bridge, make sure you grab the site of grace and head west. We're going to go all the way to the very far end of where we can go. Ignore all the enemies and everything. They just stand here and fight each other anyway. And you need to be prepared for a little battle here. There is going to be 1 stray dog. I would recommend killing that because when you get here for the first ever time, you are going to be invaded by an NPC. If you kill that NPC, if this dog leaves me alone, dude, get the fuck off me. But yeah, inside here, on this corpse, I believe, you'll have a loot drop. It's going to be Golden Vow, the incantation. Then you can go to a site of grace, go into memorize spell. You can then put that incantation into its right slot. So again, in order to get the opaline bubble tier, you're going to head back to the first step. You're going to come all the way round to the right, so to your east and then down to the south. Come into the Weeping Peninsula. From Castle Morn Rampart, you're going to come up here onto the top section, grab this South of the Lookout Tower Site of Grace, follow it all the way along, make your way up onto this section with the massive tree, and then at the minor Erd tree there's going to be a boss called the Erd tree avatar. Take that down, you'll be awarded the Opaline bubble tier, and you can then put your wondrous physic flask, or whatever you want to call it, you can put it together, which you actually get from the Third Church of Marika. Then you're not only going to get a significant boost to your damage negation for one hit. So if I pop the flask now, it replenishes every time you visit a Site of Grace. This bubble will allow you to take a huge amount of damage off a hit. A lot of enemies don't actually deal any damage when they hit you, but the bubbles are one hit, then it's gone. Not only that, it increases your intelligence, or boosts it, by 10 for 3 minutes. So for as long as the flask is active, you've got an extra 10 intelligence. Your sword scales with intelligence, making it even stronger. So the next thing we are going for, and we're actually getting close to the end of the video, is we are going for the final, like the second of the 2 incantations that I run. I do use the hill one as well. I believe you can buy that in the Round Table Hold, but I don't use it too often. The ones that are going to benefit this build the most are Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. But what you want to do is come to Caelin Ruins, make your way round until you get to Fort Greyoll North. But when you get here, there is going to be Fort Greyoll North, so there is a Site of Grace, you can get rid of all the combat and stuff. So, this is going to be a little bit risky, you might lose your runes. But head up into the fort. I'll also give you a tip with these enemies just in case. There's going to be a dude up here, he's an absolute fucking nightmare. He just constantly hits you with spells and shit. But come up here, come all the way round. He almost hit me with that one. Follow this round to the back of the fort. Then you need to be careful, because you're going to have 2 of the flamethrower turret things standing there. In the middle, there's a corpse leaning against the wall or something. That's got the incantation. But these arseholes in the flamethrower turrets, there's little men sat in the back of them. So their weak point is the very, very back. If you can sit on your mount, make your way to the back of them, then all you've got to do is hit them from behind, and you can take the men out, and it deals so much damage to them, because the things disappear once the men are out of them. So that's why, if you're attacking them normally, they don't take a lot of damage. They've got very high resistance. So just make sure you go around the back and smash the fuck out of the men. So what you now have is everything we've mentioned in the video. That is absolutely everything you are going to need in order to get the build that I've got. You've got your Golden Vow, you've got your Flame Grant Me Strength, which is the other incantation, you've got your Fire Scorpion Charm, you've got the Filigreed Crest, all that sort of stuff. You've also got Radagon Soreseal, can't forget that one, it's incredible. Alongside Radagon Soreseal, this is obviously going to depend on how many talisman slots you've got. I do like to run the Gold Scarab. It's a 20% boost to your runes. And if you're interested in the Gold Scarab, you don't yet have it, there is a video on the channel for it. I'll try and make sure I remember to link all of these videos. If there's a video, like if there's something you want to know about, I didn't mention it, but I did say I'd link a video and I haven't, then let me know in the comments and I'll grab the link for it and add it to the pinned comment and description. So the Golden Vow actually boosts your attack and defense powers. And then Flame Grant Me Strength, what that one is going to do is it boosts your physical and your fire affinity attack power. So with the multiplicative boosts, you're going to be really, really boosting your attack power. Your defense is going to go up and all of your fire stuff's going to be boosted too. One of the main things about the Sword of Night and Flame is that it has a fire attack. Not only that, the other talisman that I would run besides the Filigreed Crest would be the Fire Scorpion Charm, which also boosts your fire damage. But you're going to have the guys pulling the caravan. I'm going to show you the base damage, and then I'm going to proc everything and show you the boosted damage with the flame part of this sword. So, if I use the ability, 1369 was the damage. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the Flask of Wondrous Physic. Then I'm going to proc Golden Vow. And then I'm going to proc Flame Grant Me Strength. And then what I'm going to do is come in between them. And I'm going to use my ability. And I dealt 1889. I've just defeated both those tall guys with one use of my sword. So, big dudes again. If I go equipment, and I change that to the Fire Scorpion Charm. So I now have that equipped. And then if I pop the Flask of Wondrous Physic, I use Golden Vow. The incantations don't need to be used in any order. But then I use Flame Grant Me Strength. And then I come over and I use this. All of a sudden it goes from 1889 to 2116. But that was a look at my build in progress, where we are currently at with it. And that is going to wrap up this video, so let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.